process.
I mean, like going through your experience of what you're doing now, you do have your kind of your reflective moments. Do
Yeah.
you? And it's easy to know. Some artists might be one to kind of help nurture the scene around them. Is it a kind of a legacy thing? Some people say, I just want to concentrate on myself. What camp do you fit in?
I would, yeah, I think I would love to. I think I don't think you need to get. This is something I've been thinking about quite recently, so it's quite relevant. I've been thinking about legacy. I've been thinking about how to make things easier for people who are coming up, because it is really difficult. And what I would want that to look like. And I think in my head, and maybe other people feel like this as well, it feels like you have to get to a certain position before you can start paying it forward.
Sure.
And I don't think that's true. I think every level that you're at, you have something to give to someone. You can, you have the gift of insight, of reflection, of experience. So, there are mentors for different levels. You might get to a certain point, you might be like, I've kind of outgrown that mentor. Maybe I need somebody who's on a certain different level, or has experience in a certain part of this industry. So I think, yeah, I think it's hard to strike a balance maybe between focusing on yourself and the whole legacy side of things. My dream is, which came to me quite recently, I was like, that's what I want, is that at some point I would love to be able to be in a position where, I mean, drama school fees are ridiculous, and I would love it if in some way they were regulated, but I don't know how that works, because a lot of people are making money off poor students who probably should be at drama school anyway. um um I would love to offer like scholarships to students who come from like lower socioeconomic backgrounds, like people who can't afford to go, because I think there's a lot of raw talent out there. I think there's like a lot of people out there who can't do it because of money, because it's whatever, 9 grand a year or something like that,
Yeah.
plus you have to live in London for most of them. So I would love to be in a position where I could offer support, financial support, to people, like even if it's just one a year for a drama school.
Do you feel like I mean I'm not throwing this accusation at
Mm.
them individually, but the goodness gracious me movement when it was happening at the time, do you think that's where it kind of where it failed, that the momentum sort of stopped and there wasn't nothing done afterwards?
Yeah, I think it stalled, definitely, like you say. I mean, the fact that we're 20 years on and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing that we're talking about. And that, and I've worked with some of them before, and they're really, really lovely people. And but also it's such a big mantle to put on someone's shoulders, to
Of
be like,
course.
what are you gonna do now? Do you know what I mean? And they're like, well, we're actors and comedians. We just want to
Yeah,
like
just paying
pay
our
our
bills.
mortgage and like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe have a family, like buy a house. I don't know. Like, I think it's a real shame that it did kind of stall there, and it was so of its time as well. It's so iconic. Maybe we're being unfair and giving it too much of an onus if we're still always harking back to it.
It's
You know
like
what I mean?
Bhangra, innit? It's like Bhangra when everyone just talks about, oh yeah, I remember music back in those days, it was much
Yeah,
better and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I always say any artist, this is a mass generalization, um, but an artist's early stuff is always the best stuff, because that was when it was where they were exploring and going through their
When they were
um,
hungry,
yeah,
quite
exactly.
literally sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So you create fruit, but
Yeah,
I think when I look back on it, for me, and it's just my opinion, I don't want to get shot, but it's I think it's aged badly in some of it as well.
yeah,
But it was relevant at that time. I remember I went to go see him live at the Hippodrome as well.
oh wow,
Yeah, so and I think that's where I got kind of I think where my kind of annoyance comes from there, because they were performing sketches I already knew, and I was like,
yeah,
and it was just my naivety in comedy to say that it's okay for them to do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just thought
Oh, it's all going to be new stuff.
yeah, you just tell a joke, come on, the next thing and stuff like that. But I was young,
Yeah,
so I kind of understood it from that bit. But
yeah,
yeah, I think you're right to say that it's just all on them. It's just that
yeah. And also, like you said about Bangla music as well. Like, I'm guilty of saying that, of being like, I'm not listening to anything post 2000. Do you know what I mean? I'm purely just listening to Subjit Bindrakia from now until I die.
yeah,
Like, I think what we do by that is we then don't really open our eyes and our minds to newer artists. So what we're kind of, because we're so stuck in that going, this is amazing, we're not going, this is amazing.
mm,
And I think maybe that's where we need to go. We need to go, goodness gracious me, was amazing. and okay, well, what do we do now? You know, well, what can we do now? And the one thing I would say is that when people are always like, oh, why aren't so and so? Why don't we have more Asian comedians on telly? Why don't we? And I'm like, you know what you need to do is support live comedy, because that's the route onto getting onto telly, to getting work commission, to writing for telly. So it's like, so if you're kind of going, oh, don't want to go and see Asian comedians, but we want to see them on telly, it doesn't work like that. That's not how the pipeline works.